Hi, it's David with Rise Utah Realty. Thanks for watching today. I got some good information about real estate. I'm going to share with you a question as I'm in my car. It is raining outside, which is not that often in Utah. It's mostly sunny here, but it's a cold day. Signs of fall and winter are here. So the question is, when will rates drop? And for the last year, I think it was thought that rates would drop in 2023. So they raised in 2022 and people thought that they would lower in 2023. And because of persistent inflation, I think it's pretty much proven that rates probably aren't going to drop in 2023. In fact, this whole year they've been going up. And I've heard just recently that, residential home mortgage rates are about 8%. And if you're trying to get an investment property, it's closer to 9%. And that's extremely high, and I don't think that's sustainable. What has been continuing the market from continuing to keep the sales going is that there's something called a buy down. So when we submit an offer, we've been submitting an offer asking that the seller contribute up to 3% of the sale of the home towards the buyer's closing cost. And what that does, it allows the buyer to have that money. So on, let's say, a $400,000 home, it would be $12,000 that the seller would pay, and it would give the buyer a lower interest rate on their mortgage. So the lender would take that, and they would have usually two programs available. One would be a buy down, and maybe buy down their rate 1%. So, rates have been going up, but when it was a 7, it'd be a 6. Now when it's an 8, it'd be a 7 or something like that. There's also another program that's a 2-1 buy down. It's like a 2-year step up program. And so first year, let's say today's rate's 8, you get like a 6% rate. Next year you get a 7, and on your third year you would get the 8. And so this has helped buffer the market. And I'm not kidding. I think most people are getting some form of buy downs. And I know on the new construction, they're offering those full 3%. And that's to help preserve the price. And so we've seen very little price change in the market. Not nearly as much as you would think. I mean, the payments on the mortgages have gone up, I calculated, about 86%. And yet home prices have hardly changed. They dipped about 11%. Now they've slowly ratcheted back up. So this is crazy, and it's kind of a sign that the buy downs have worked, and the market's still in a tighter market. We don't have a lot of inventory because a lot of people that could sell aren't selling because they have great rates that they don't want to get rid of. And so a lot of the inventory is coming from new construction and those people who have to move. And so here we are. So going back to the rates. So that's what sustained them. That's how people are managing it today. But when will rates go down? Well, quite frankly, when inflation is taken care of. And right now, we haven't got much word that that's happening. Definitely the market is slowing, the economic market. Once we've seen those signs and we hear from the Fed that, the interest rates have slowed the market, and inflation goes down, that's when we'll see interest rates drop. Now, how much? How much will interest rates drop? Well, it's been forecasted even by the Fed themselves that they're not going to drop much more than 1, maybe 2%. That's it. So if we're at 8% now, I think best case scenario, we get down to 6% in 2024. But more likely, they're going to stay higher longer. And the longer they stay, just the more it's like cold water on cooling things down. That's going to take effect and probably push us into a recession. Because what I've seen over, I've been through 3 recessions in my lifetime, and every time the Fed has reacted and overreacted and cooled the market. And so quite honestly, that's what I anticipated, that they're going to overshoot, keep rates higher than what they need to, throw us in a recession and make a downturn. So we'll see where that goes. But for right now, don't really anticipate anything happening in rates until you see inflation go down. and it's been much stickier than they think. And I don't really see for most forecasts that they would lower rates until maybe middle of next year, 2024. So you can always get a buy down if you are looking to buy, and that'll kind of hold you over for a time until you can get a lower rate. But don't think you're going to get rates in the 3s or 4s. That's probably not going to happen. Now the X factor in all this is the election year. Next year we have an election year, and in election years sometimes we don't do things that are best economically, but it would look better for the sitting president if rates got lowered and kind of stimulated the economy. Things felt a little bit easing. The Democrats did that for fuel. Closer to the election, they released all the reserves for the fuel, and it dropped prices like $1 or so and made people happy. But then we used up all of our oil reserves, and prices went back up. But for the short term, it totally worked. So who knows what they'll do next year. I don't really approve of that kind of short-term thinking. I want to still think long-term and hold up the market in a responsible way, but it is what it is. So thanks for listening. Please let me know in the comments what your experience has been, if you use the buy down, or what you're seeing to get people through. Thanks.